As an entrepreneur, he's channeled his creative flair into a successful business. From small beginnings, he's managed to build up an iconic brand of t-shirts. Stay tuned for the story of British entrepreneur Dominic Johnson Hill, a man who enjoys a challenge.
My name is Dominic, and you are watching my beautiful China. So I took on a bet, a 3-month bet, that I could learn to swim properly, because I can't, and swim 1,000 meters in less than 25 minutes. Pretty much every quarter of every year, I set some ridiculous goal to challenge myself. After this will be a triathlon, which is another challenge. Which I have to live up to. Thus far, I've usually managed to reach all of my goals, but quite often, every now and then, I fall flat. But it's the challenge that gets me out of bed in the morning. My name's Dominic Johnson Hill, and I'm a British entrepreneur who's been living in Beijing for 21 years, and I sell t-shirts.
Early most mornings, Dominic Johnson Hill makes his way to the Hohai Lake area in the heart of Beijing for a walk.
Hohai is just a very inspiring place. And now I'm so fortunate because I work here as well. And I work in a very inspiring place in Beijing, which is great because I'm in the creative industry and our brand is all about celebrating Beijing. And even though I have a small office team of around 6 people, it's very important to get one-on-one time with everyone.
我在给兼职做英语培训的时候，然后就紧接着会有一些互动的小活动。
可以
啊，对，但是呢，前提是我这边会有一个打算，会几乎没有预算的情况下，然后做一些互动啊什么的。
可以。
需要的话呢，我可能差不多是3个月一次。
对。
这样来说哈，也会比较合理。
也行，反正我就是定一个预算嘛，随便，就是一定要吃饭。 有好玩的，上次我们去攀岩，我觉得挺好玩的。
对，我觉得特别好。
Yen's got a very important role, and she's fairly new. She's only been with us about a month. Her job is a very difficult one. Is that she's really in charge of what we call talent. The people that run our stores, elderly women. Culturally in China, it's a Confucian society. You know, you look up to your elders, right, and respect them. But at the same time, we also have to train, and we have to educate the women who run our stores, the Ayis, right. But we have younger people who are training them. Beijing eyes are very direct. They'll tell you if you're doing it right, if you're doing it wrong, right away.
His early morning stroll over, Dominic heads back to his office for a regular staff meeting.
So this is our offices. Not in your average office space. It's not an office building. It's actually an old courtyard, a centuries-old courtyard. And we share this old courtyard with many families. We've been in this space for about 6 years. It's beautiful. It's very inspiring. It's very close to our flagship store. And now we're having our morning meetings where we pull in our shop staff to talk with the office staff.
有3个网站，外国人一直都还现在比较多。对。
如果多的话，其实那个一会儿我大闺女呀放假，她也找一些工作，她可以在店里做一些就是兼职。I'm not such an IQ guy, so I really rely on my EQ, and it's the same with all my staff. They don't always necessarily have university degrees. But I spot nice people.
我觉得他那个挺有心机的，他就应该通过我们就是前面这些销售人员来了解一下这个店的情况，甭管是经营情况还是顾客的反响，包括对他这衣服的评价，我觉得他开这会非常有必要。
马上到端午节，今年端午节已经有这么一幅画，那肯定里面的东西蛮有意思的，因为是很新鲜，是代表今天。比方说下边是一个船，可以。然后谁在 妹做很痛。然后如果每个节日我们可以切一些特殊东西，也挺便宜啊，就应该做。
他就把这些职工就当自己家人一样，心眼儿特好，所以呢，好多员工都愿意跟着他干，就是喜欢他这人。
Nanluoguxiang is one of the busiest commercial districts in Beijing. But when Dominic first moved here, it was nothing like it is today.
What you see now in Nanluoguxiang is very different to when I started. I was the first shop on the street, which is hard to believe now when we get 100,000 people a day. I used to sit in that street, right in the middle, in the evenings, with my children and my wife, and have dinner in the middle of the street.
It was for the sake of his family that he decided to start a business.
I had pretty much run out of money. I had 2 kids, and I needed to start a business. I just came up with an idea, which was to celebrate Beijing through images on T-shirts. And I opened a little store. On my first day, I sold 1 T-shirt, and it was very difficult because there was no one on the street. I nearly, went bankrupt, and it was tough to persuade, Kang Ai, who's here today. She's working with me for nearly 10 years. The first month that she came on, there were days where she sold nothing. Literally days where nothing was even sold in the shop.
But as a result of some clever PR work, sales eventually took off.
And so I spent a lot of time and energy trying to get people to the street. The first thing I ever did was I went to the local residents committee. They had a band dancing team. And I said to them, would you dance outside my store? It's like these old retired ladies, and they would do it for free because they were in my community. And then what I would do is I would teach them English on a Sunday for free. December 2006, I went from 2,000 RMB a month to 60,000 RMB a month. And it was very simple. What happened was a bunch of magazines wrote about me. It was 3 magazines all wrote about me saying it's a great place to buy Christmas presents, it's a great place to see Beijing. And then I just thought to myself, okay, it's very simple. I must give myself a goal, which was I need to get into more media. The brand was about sort of 8 months old. I decided to pull off a really big event, which was to block off the street, put disco balls in the trees, and do a catwalk show in the Hutong in Beijing. It's never been done before in history. And we invited the media and our friends, and it was from these events and from these kind of special things we did that we really started to get noticed. I'd never forget at the end of that show, I was inside the courtyard getting all the models changed, and the show was over, and then the doors opened, and there was a crowd of 150 people there, and they all just cheered me, because I'd done it, right? And no one had ever seen anything like it before, and I just walked out into the crowd with my hands in the air. That was the changing moment of my business. That was the moment my business for me came alive. So actually the fit is perfect, and we complement each other. It's Panjiayuan. For me, this is paradise. It's done, it's beautiful. We work with a lot of small businesses in Beijing. For me, I kind of celebrate small business. I love it. Small businesses working together in a kind of syndication. Everybody complements each other and everybody helps each other.
Although making T-shirts is not a difficult job, he chooses his business partners very carefully. Mr. Zhang owns a small clothing factory in suburban Beijing. A good friend is also Dominic's sole fabric supplier.
Everything that you see here is a plastered T-shirt in the making. This is actually one of our very kind of proud points, that we make everything, all our clothing basically is made here.
咱们用这东西啊，咱用的东西属于高档东西。我要2根，完了他就给你专法，他那个，要不然他那边也有男的也跟我说，你把1年的你的计划你就告诉我，完了以后咱们一下全弄出来，质量还有保障。
Obviously I met Zhang Jinli first, great guy, and then we started to make our shirts. And since we've started making our clothing here, we haven't actually had any problems. It's a small business. And he concentrates on quality. He doesn't have ambitions to be big. Well, neither do I. So actually the fit is perfect. We both have businesses that are of a similar size, and we complement each other.
工作方面，这是一点不能含糊的，这是一就是一，二就是二，该怎么办就怎么办。他有他的一个品牌一个标准。
The visit to his business partner doesn't last long. Dominic is anxious to get to one of his favorite places in Beijing.
I'm very fortunate in life that my passion is also my work, and this market is without doubt my passion. It's Panjiayuan. It's one of the biggest flea markets in Asia, and I buy pretty much anything and everything here. In fact, my wife gets fed up with it. But it's a problem that's really also profitable because I get to buy things that then turn into t-shirts and design. So that's really my goal here, is to buy anything and maybe something that I can turn into a t-shirt design.
老的笔记本。
我也有这年代的。
喜欢收藏的话，便宜给你。
谢谢。
你那个小猫的那个最低价150，市场都卖200-300的那个。
我价格就是100啊，你能接受就能接受。谢谢啊。
你要给130行吗？
我不给。
不给是吧？
对，我就这么一个价啊，谢谢。
100我就是本钱，我100来的。
啊，行，那你别买啊。
sorry。
Hello， 你好，老朋友。
怎么样？
谁当不来？谁当不来？这150给点。
没事，我蹲着。
好，谁当不来？他买过我的东西，他知道我给他都是优惠的。他只要是相中了啊，我们俩就可以讨价还价啊，希望他给我钱，合适我就卖。
哎，你有没有那个邮票？就是那个女英雄开推特机那个？
您说就是这种对吧？
对。
邮票的对吧？
You know, there's hundreds of stamps, thousands of stamps in China, but they all have beautiful images. And a lot of these images we can use in our designs. Very retro, quite iconic. Someone like this is super iconic. This woman is also on some of the money in China. She's like an old hero. A woman driving a tractor was quite a statement in the old days. You know, what they call like part of the women holding up half the sky. It's actually really cool. We would do a lot with this image. Bye bye. Well, this is Panjiayuan, probably one of the most incredible places on earth. I love it here. There's just so much stuff to buy. It's an antique market, you know, 90% of it is rubbish, but inside all the rubbish you find diamonds every now and then. And just now I bought an old stamp. It's actually quite a common stamp. Hello. But the image on the stamp suddenly sort of gave me an idea, which was to use that image, play with it a bit, stick it on a t-shirt. That's what I do. And a lot of my images and ideas come from markets like this. China's the ultimate place to go to flea markets because of its long history. There's so much stuff. Stuff here that's 100 years old you can still get at a fairly decent price. But yeah, for me, this is paradise.
In just a day or two, Dominic and his designer will have transformed the little stamp into a fun design for a plastered t-shirt.
More about today. So to have her driving a tractor, using a telephone, driving the tractor, having a beer, all of these kind of things that will be sort of fun, humorous, silly, and representative of today. 非常好，非常好，我觉得挺适合。对。完了咱们可以试试做丝网印，我觉得这个就适合做丝网印。
而且放在深颜色的 T 恤上。
深颜色，对，就像这么一个颜色也差不多，是吧？白色可能不太好，但是是黑色、蓝色。
对，这样它的图案就会显得比较亮丽。
Dominic's other main business partner is the owner of a Beijing dyeing and printing factory.
Right, so this is Tongzhou, which is really on the outskirts of Beijing. This is where we get all our t-shirts printed. They're all screen printed, and they're all extremely high quality, and we've made them all at this factory. The boss is quite a good friend. It's called Yan Laoban, and I've known him for about maybe 6 or 7 years. They've been printing our stuff here, and their quality is exceptionally high. So I'm going to show you how a beautifully made t-shirt is made. Hello, 老板。你好，你好，你好。
又见面了。
哎，挺好的。
好，忙。
谢谢。
我想应该跟老姜见面还是08年左右的时候。他拿来的产品，首先我看了看，是挺感兴趣的。人第一次的交流好像印象也不错。
He's very into the whole idea of creativity. He's into the whole land, so he supports us.
这样的话呢，我们就是从一开始就是从很少的量几个款，一直就是配合到现在已经达到1年做了好几万件。
So this is one of the most exciting parts about being an entrepreneur or in the creative business, is seeing your final product in the factory or when it arrives in the shop is also exciting. For me, I don't know, one pressure I always put on my team is to always create new things, and seeing something like this is pretty exciting actually for me. This is quite a complicated design. It's got about 5 layers, as you can see this guy doing here. This is the final layer coming on here, so you can actually see this is actually the finished product, I think, right here. 这是最后一层是吧？是吧？是。Yeah, this is it. It's done. It's beautiful. So really, from concept to finding a stamp to having a product, actually relatively quick. China is very much a playground for not only for entrepreneurs but people in the creative business, because of course everybody knows that everything's made in China, but you can also have it made extremely high quality. You can also have it made extremely quickly and right on your doorstep, because we're actually still in Beijing. So generally when we print something for the first time, we do a small run to test the market. And it'll be around the region of 100 shirts. These will go into the stores, and over the first 3 weeks we'll monitor the sales, and if they're good, then we start to produce bigger quantities. So whereas Yan Laoban is used to taking big orders, with me he's very flexible, and he'll take small orders, and so I'm able to build my business on great relationships like this.
It seems he has a natural talent for making friends with other small business owners. A good relationship, he believes, is the secret to a complementary and lasting business partnership.
So I'm going in to check it out. I miss this place a lot. So yeah, a lot of history.
They're burnt.
They're not burnt, they're just that colour naturally. Because I love this city, it changed my life.
From time to time, Dominic Johnson Hill likes to take a hands-on approach to the more creative side of doing business.
Right, so this is the first time I get to see the artwork at Pizza Express. It's pretty exciting. Up until now I haven't seen the final look, so I'm going in to check it out. When I arrive at Pizza Express and I see my design on the wall, I could not be happier. Those are some of the happiest moments for me as an artist as well, because I have 2 lives, as a businessman and as an artist. And to see that up there is so inspiring. I feel so proud. And every now and then I get given the opportunity to do a really awesome project. In this case, it's Pizza Express. They asked me to do a big piece of artwork for their restaurant. They gave me a theme, which was bicycles, and then they gave me an 8-meter wall by 3 meters high, and then more artwork. This is the biggest piece of artwork I've ever done. It's actually a very busy restaurant, this. It seems to be busy all the time now, which is nice. Here's a lot of customers sat in front of the artwork, so I'm going to ask them how they feel about it. Let's hope they like it. Hi guys, quick question, sorry to disturb you in your meal. What do you think of this? Is it inspiring?
It is.
Why?
If you've never been to a Great Wall, you need to go there.
Yeah, you do have to go there. But the bicycles and people all in unison, does it feel like China to you?
It does.
How about yourself?
Yeah, I think it's a very artistic representation of what China could be,
Right.
what it is.
Right. Good.
Right.
Yeah. And this, look, we even etched our name into the wall.
For you too.
Because I did so badly at school, and I did so badly in England in general, as I always wanted recognition, and which you can think of as a very shallow thing, but sometimes it's these things that drive us in life. You know, I love recognition. I love it when someone says to me, "Oh, you know, your shirts are really cool," or "Your artwork is really nice. I saw it somewhere." I love recognition. But when you're designing for a big brand like Pizza Express, there's a lot of pressure. This is done, it's finished, I couldn't be happier. And this is the moment I get to celebrate it with a professional photographer, taking some pictures to, well, just to remember it, and then I can use these pictures for marketing purposes.
This typical Beijing courtyard house in a hutong or alley brings back 11 years of memories. The house witnessed many ups and downs in his life and will always have a special place in his heart.
So this is the the yard where I moved to in 2003. Just by chance, my wife saw an advert and it belonged to an artist, and we moved in here. So it really all started with this yard, and all my children grew up in this yard, and it's the place that changed my life, really. And it's a place that I have a lot of emotion for this this courtyard house. 10 years of living here with my family, and then starting a business and meeting Kang Ai and my neighbors like Lao Nyo. It's yeah, I miss this place a lot, but I still get to come here quite often. So yeah, a lot of history. Yeah. And this over here is Kang Ai's house.
Today is Dragon Boat Festival. Dominic celebrates with a lunch at his old neighbor Miss Kang's house.
要吗？喂。
真的吗？
搁着。
来，行，今天我的传统节日端午节，
端午节。
买了点粽子，尝尝。
好，谢谢阿姨。And so living in the courtyard it was a dream. The courtyard was beautiful. I could hear Kang Ai cooking. I would have an argument with my wife, and Kang Ai would come to me in the morning, and she would have heard the whole argument, and she would tell me, "Don't talk to your wife like that." And having that kind of neighbor, it gives you a neighborhood or community, gives you a feeling of security. Right, so this is my my neighborhood. I used to live in the Hutongs for on Nanaguxiang for 11 years, and then we moved here. We bought a house in one of these old red brick buildings in Chaoyang district. Very different. Doesn't have the same community feel as the old Hutongs did, but it's still a home. And right now, my kids are on holiday. That's all 4 of them. We live in a very small apartment, so I come home at lunch because my wife is away and cook them lunch. That makes them happier because they get kind of cabin fever inside all day. So yeah, let's have a look at home. When we were in the Hutong, it was a lot bigger, the space we had, but you know, it wasn't doable in the end. You know, the street came so busy So many people know me from television that it ended up just being a pain, you know. So we moved here. But the problem is these buildings in China, you don't have the community that you have in the hutongs. You know, I didn't even know who lives next door to me. And they're 3 meters away. I shared a courtyard with Kang Ai and 4 other families, and you know, for 10, 11 years, and we became like family. I'm very happy to have 4 kids. I'm very blessed. And Betsy, you know, is Chinese, adopted, and it was like probably the best day of my life, you know, going to Wuhan to meet Betsy. All 5 of us walk into a room. She's 1 year old. She sat there. We get introduced. We take her home. It was like it's like a dream. Can you get me a bowl, Winnie, for the cheese and the tomato? A lot of people always, you know.
Is it comfortable for you to sit on the photos for education?
Cut the cheese, John.
Daddy, do you know what I just did?
You farted?
No, I swallowed the seed of a cherry.
You what?
I swallowed the seed of
The seed? Oh, really?
cherry.
You're going to grow a cherry tree out your butt.
Hey!
Hang on, here, you take this mic. So, tell me, Rosie, apparently your father's really good looking. Can you tell me more about him? Tell me more about your dad.
He's ugly.
He's ugly. Sorry, could you tell me more about your father? Is he a successful businessman?
No.
How do you feel about his t-shirts?
I hate them.
And is he a good father, or does he beat you up all the time?
He beats me up all the time.
Okay. How do you think your future lies? Do you think you have a secure future? Oh, bloody hell. I'm going to be burning these things now. No, not quite burnt. Interview's not finished. How's your father's cooking?
Horrible.
Horrible?
They're burnt.
They're not burnt. They're just that colour, naturally.
It's a simple lunch, but a happy occasion for this proud father and his 4 girls.
Oh, hi, it's beautiful. This is actually moving water. It goes to Beihai.
3, 2, 1, go! Hi!
So Beijing is like a dream for me. I mean, look at this. We're at this, you know, amazing lake with people singing, all this culture, all this history. And around us are 20 million people, all vying for their spot in this life and in this city, all fighting for their place. And then when you come to a place like this, for all the terrible or the bad things that happen in this city, and when you get frustrated with it, you forgive it all at this moment. You sit here and you talk with these old guys, and everyone's very harmonious here. Right on this bit of stone here are people from Anhui and Hebei and Hubei and Beijing, and there's old guys, there's young guys, and nobody cares. You're all equal. I can't imagine 20 years from now, because I'm not a planner. I've never had a plan in life. I'm a very impulsive person, and I just see things and I run in that direction. You know, I don't really have a plan for tomorrow, to be honest, you know. Romantically, I would love to see myself on this bit of stone with those old guys singing in 20 years' time, and a courtyard place over there, and my grandchildren coming to visit me in Beijing, because I love this city. It changed my life. My name's Dominic Johnson Hill, and this is my China.